are you?
You haven't figured it out yet. I'm the Saiyan who came all the way from Earth for the sole purpose of beating you. I am the warrior you've heard of in legends, pure of heart and awakened by fury. That's what I am.
Hey guys. So, I don't know if you noticed, Frani and CL are not here. But I thought this would be a good opportunity for me to kind of talk about something that I'm like in love with, something that means a lot to me, and that is Dragon Ball. Now, today I'm going to be talking more about Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan Saga, but to talk about it, I will have to mention some things that happened in Dragon Ball, the original. But know that even though I'm going over those things, I really don't want people to be dissuaded from watching the show, so I'll do my best to not spoil like fun moments in the show, but just spoil the things that I have to spoil in order to tell you about Dragon Ball Z. Now, fun fact, Dragon Ball Z actually came over to the US before Dragon Ball. So, you know, for those who are like, well, they're starting off without so much context, blah, blah, blah. Well, so did I. So I think it's only fair that I kind of treat it that way. But I will give the bare minimum, essentially the stuff that's explained in the pilot of Dragon Ball Z, the re-explained things that are said again when the show starts. But also, the reason... Well, first off, I should actually say this before I say that. But the first thing is, the original idea with this video was I was going to have an analysis. I was going to have a big video behind it, like showing certain things that happened in the show while I talked about them. But what I realized is, like, there's 1.5 million analyses of Dragon Ball Z. If you want someone smart to go tell you why you should be interested in characters like Goku and Piccolo, there's plenty of that. I'm just going to go over what makes me happy with it, what brings the nostalgia, good feelings, and also why was I so entranced in this world, and what's so magical about it that made me want to, you know, watch it. So we got our royalty-free music here in our breakdown, but also I do want to mention a bit of my past with the show. So originally when the show came on television, I didn't watch it. I didn't know about it. I wasn't into Toonami like the first like couple of months. I found out about it a little later when essentially I came over to a friend's house and they were playing elements of the Frieza saga on screen. And, you know, at first I was like, I don't know if I'm super into this. But then I started watching it at home on Toonami without the the episodes would play in random order. So I'm seeing people's hair turn blonde. I'm seeing people explode that are like super relevant to the plot, like on first watchings and things like that. And what I came to find is like I didn't care. Turn your hair blonde, Goku. You're queen. I'm gonna watch you do whatever you want to do. You're killing it, buddy. Just keep punching stuff. But then I started, you know, as I got a little bit older, I'm like, you know, I'm probably like, I don't know, like 8 at this point, because I mean I watched it really early. I'm like 9, going back and rewatching the whole show. And the thing about Toonami was it would play in order, but you couldn't like start from the beginning. It'd be wherever the show was. So I went to the library. I tried to rent as much as I could. Went to my local video store, and somehow I was able to piece together the entire Saiyan saga. But then came a point where I'm one day at the store with my brother, and I'm seeing these VHS tapes of Dragon Ball Z everywhere. And I'm like, oh shit, this is things that I haven't seen and hasn't come on Toonami yet. So my brother puts a copy of like the Majin Buu episodes on layaway, which my dad was not happy about, and the fact that it was just in their office like waiting to be paid for. He used that as like a sly way of like basically forcing my dad to go buy it. Not cool. And then my grandmother bought 2 random tapes, one from Dragon Ball, which I was so confused by. I barely watched because I was like, what the hell is this? Why is he so much younger? Because in the US we didn't know yet. So that was confusing. And then there was also, I had basically burned into my brain I had the fight between Cell and Goku, you know, like obviously a fight that nobody really talks about that much, but like that was burned in my brain because I had the VHS tape from my grandmother. And for some reason, that's one of the fights that's like always, I mean, I don't know for some reason. I mean, obviously the reason is because I watched it, but it's just stuck in my head, like that particular fight. And, you know, that, I think, that tape is what made me start doing chores and things of that nature, and then I bought all of them. So I've seen all of Dragon Ball Z just on the VHS tapes where they put out 3 episodes per VHS tape at $15. My dad is a good guy. But recently I rebought all of the whole series for like $100 or something on Blu-ray, and I've been rewatching it. And, you know, it's something I'm still so passionate about. I mean, I was even passionate about Tenkaichi 3. I bet I can fuck you up at that game, by the way. Just throwing that out there. I'm the best at that shit. But but I was just like, I've been, now that I have this platform where, like, some people listen to this, you know, whether it be 5 people or 500 people or whatever, I thought, like, how cool would it be for me to talk about it? So here we go. Oh, by the way, if you, I think this is made for somebody who, you know, wants to learn about it before diving deep into it, or maybe, you know, they just love the show so much they want to hear somebody else pontificate and talk about how great the show is. So first, I'm going to describe, like I said, things that happened in Dragon Ball and the entirety of the Saiyan saga in, you know, spruced up detail. I mean, I'm not going to get into every little thing, but we're going to go over it. And then I'll give you my analysis at the end. So the timestamps will be listed. Yet again, sorry, I originally wanted to make this into like a full-blown video, but due to bad scheduling and plus, like, you know, strikes and things like that, I don't know, like, how much footage I can use and stuff like that. So I'm just, I mean, I do, but I just think due to scheduling, this will be better. So if you guys really dig this, I'll keep doing all the sagas. Maybe we'll add video. I don't know. I don't want to make promises. I just want to talk about Dragon Ball Z. Okay, so our story starts out with little Goku, right? Now, Goku is our main character, and basically he was born with a tail and found in a spaceship by his grandpa Gohan. Obviously not blood related. Don't know if I had to explain that, but and he's like a little fucker when he's first born. I mean, he's a real bitch. If you've ever heard about my dog Mila, he's like my dog Mila. He's just a fucking asshole. He doesn't really need like a reason. Although we learn he does have a reason. But but basically one day he hits his head and we're assuming amnesia or some kind of brain damage. I don't know. The context of that's a little weird, but essentially he comes into being a nice kid, and Grandpa Gohan raises him in the forest where he never meets another living person until after his grandfather's death. His grandpa dies, leaves him in the shack and all these things, and he's just a little boy living out in the wild. And he runs into a young lady named Bulma. Bulma, she is what we refer to as a thought in the Dragon... No, I'm just kidding. I love Bulma. She's great. But they spark not necessarily a friendship, but a acquaintanceship, because Goku has one of the legendary Dragon Balls. That's the whole, you know, I don't know if that's the title of the show in the thing right here. So basically, Bulma has created this device in which it tracks like the mineral existence. It's like geocaching of like every single Dragon Ball on the planet, right? And what the Dragon Balls do once you gather them all together is it summons an eternal dragon named Shenron, and he grants you wishes. That shit's pretty tight. Shenron is also, he's pretty tight as well. But Goku has the 4-star ball, which was given to him by his grandfather. And basically, you know, hijinks ensue. She gets Goku to come on a trip with her to find the other ones. And they meet lots of interesting characters. They meet an old hermit martial artist Master Roshi, who actually turned out to have been friends with Goku's grandfather, Grandpa Gohan. So he decides, like, I'm going to train Goku because Goku, we don't know this at this point as far as like Dragon Ball watchers, but like, you know that Goku's a fucking alien, bro. and he's super strong and can shoot fucking blasts out of his hands and shit.
Ka me
What a badass. So anyway, he was able to do that as a kid. That became a big deal, and he started entering martial arts tournaments. He did learn a bit of martial arts from his grandfather, obviously, but more so from Master Roshi. And then Master Roshi has another pupil named Krillin. He's a bald guy with 6 freckles on his head, I assume. I don't know. I could be very wrong. Those could be like significant to like a religion or like a place, but I am not well researched on Krillin because, quite frankly, he's not my favorite character. I like Krillin, you know, he's fine, but he's not my favorite character. He doesn't have a nose. That always upsets me. A lot of these character designs, because of Dragon Ball, are very fantastical. Like, if you really love action-adventure comedy, I don't know if Dragon Ball Z is the show for you, but Dragon Ball is kind of exactly what you're looking for. Very, like, One Piece-esque, very goofy, but has its serious moments, and it's just a really cool action-adventure show, and you fall in love with these characters. Now, fast forward a bit, we start in Dragon Ball Z, the Saiyan Saga, okay? So Goku now is an older man, he's gotten married, he has a kid, and he hasn't seen his friends in like 3 years, so they're all deciding, oh, hey, we're all gonna meet up at Master Roshi's house, which is an adorable little island with a little pink house on it. Very aesthetic. I'd love to live there. But they show up. They all get together, and Goku has a little bit of a surprise. He has a son. A little guy he named after his grandfather named Gohan. This dude, he's got an adorable little drip going on. He's got a Dragon Ball on his head with a hat. He's got like a little green pants. It's what's up. He's looking good. He's killing it. The drip is good. And they're all surprised because Goku is like assumingly pretty young to have a kid, considering where we left off the last time. He was barely a teenager, but he's like a young adult. So his friends notice that he still has his tail. Now Gohan still has his tail. Now Goku has surgically removed his tail forever. They don't really get into why he decided to do this, but it's a good thing because when there's a full moon, if a Saiyan, which is the kind of alien that Goku is, has a tail, it's like a werewolf, except when it's a full moon, they turn into a giant ape that destroys planets. A giant ape that destroys planets. Okay. That's a choice. But anyway, so they're all together. They're all having a great time. They do seem a little genuinely worried that there's a tail. But when they're on the island, all of a sudden they feel a huge energy force approaching them from the sky. And what lands straight out of a hair metal band from the 80s? Raditz. Now, Raditz, he's this character who has like this weird, I guess you could say like a scouter or like half pair of like sunglasses on his face. But what this does is it's a little piece of technology that tells him the power levels of the people around him. Now, power levels, I mean, I don't want to get into too many specifics here, but basically it's like how strong a motherfucker is, right? And he's looking at, he's basically going all over the planet, and he finally finds Goku, who is obviously going to have the largest power on the planet. He then tells Goku, hey dude, here's the deal. You're a fucking alien. Don't know if you knew that, but you were an alien sent as a baby to come to Earth to destroy it. Goku's like, what the fuck? He says, your name's really Kakarot. You're not named Goku, and you were sent here to destroy a planet. You should have done it in a year's time after landing. So obviously him hitting his head definitely avoided a lot of issues for the planet, because there's a good chance they would have not been able to survive Goku, the baby, if he had stayed an evil, rambunctious baby. Raditz basically says, like, we're just space pirates. Our goal is that we go, we conquer planets, we sell them. That was your job as a baby. But one day, when a lot of us were on our home planet, except for 4 of us, me, you, and 2 other boys, the planet was destroyed by a space tyrant. So we're the only 4 remaining space pirate Saiyan boys left. And what you need to do is join us, because we have a huge planet we're about to conquer, and we need a 4th person, and you will just be enough, even though you're super weak because you're a dumbass who got rid of your tail. And he's like, fuck, I don't want to do that. So he tries to like fight him off. Raditz fucking fades Krillin into the side of Master Roshi's house, straight through the skylight. And we is so sad too. But he ends up seeing that his young son, Goku's young son, Gohan, has a tail. So he goes, I'm going to kidnap him. And if you don't come back, I'm going to destroy like cities every day until you either agree to join us or whatever. And then he takes Gohan. Not before fucking punching Goku in the gut and like basically ruining all of his internal organs. I mean, I don't know for sure, but that's the way it looked. So he's freaking out. He needs to go get his young son. His wife is very abrasive, so even if he doesn't really love his son, he does. But even if he didn't, as some people have speculated, his wife would kill him. So at this point, sorry, I'm drinking water here. At this point, he's like, fuck, I need to go after fucking Raditz and go get my kid back. And like, I need to go do it right now, because I don't really like, yes, it's horrible he's gonna destroy cities, but I'm also worried about my son's like individual, you know, like we don't know this guy. He could be fucking horrible. He could torture his son. We don't know this dude. He's got super long hair. He's got a leg strap. He's not to be trusted. He looks like he's in fucking White Snake. I don't trust this shit. So he's like, we need to go now. Enter Piccolo. Now, Piccolo, I don't want to get into too much about who Piccolo is, but basically Piccolo is the villain from Dragon Ball. Remember, this is the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, and it's basically like picked up 3 years. It's a time jump right after the events of Dragon Ball. So Piccolo is a bad guy, we'll say that. He's the 2nd strongest thing on Earth. He's a giant green dude. He's got antennas. He's got weird arm pimples. I don't know what those are. I love his design. I don't care. And he's basically like, this guy was fucking with me, and he said he's going to take over the planet. It's my job to take over the planet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to help you, Goku. We're going to go fuck your brother up. We're going to fuck him up. I'm going to blast him with shit. And then we're going to fight after, because I want to take over the planet, not him. And him killing you and taking over the planet is just going to get in my way. And I know I can't take him down by myself. So let's just go do this. He had run into Raditz at an earlier point. I didn't feel that was like super necessary to bring up. Basically, Raditz was scouting the Earth, saw Piccolo's power level, thought, oh, it's kind of low, but could be Kakarot, Goku, whatever. It's not him. Leaves. Doesn't even fucking bother to kill him. They end up deciding we need to go right now. Element of surprise. They go try to sneak up on him. And you're seeing, at this point, Raditz's scouter is scouting that Gohan's power level is like fucking insane. He's like a total fucking gonna fuck you up kind of guy, you know? He's like literally a strongman over there. And but his cry is so annoying. That's the number one thing you're gonna be annoyed with in the episode is Gohan's crying. I recently watched it with my friend Madison, and she was like, this is the worst part, I promise. And I'm like, you're probably right. But then it's saying his power level is like 700 and something, which is like insanely high, like higher than like Goku's was. So he's like, this shit's got to be broken. So when there's a new group of people coming, he sees another large power level coming, or 2 large power levels, and he's like, this shit's broken. It's not even working. And he doesn't believe that they're coming. And then when they show up, he's like, what the fuck? This is real. So the scouter power of Gohan was real too. What the fuck? I should just take this kid and say fuck it to Goku, you know? Like that. I think that's just like backward thought. They show up. Obviously Raditz is fucking insanely powerful, because I mean, he's been a space pirate this whole time, and he's been training and like working to hurt people, whereas like Goku's been a martial artist, sure, but has lived on peaceful Earth where he's only had to combat Piccolo, a couple of demons, and like normal ass people. There's a dude with a third eye named Tien. He's cool. But Mainly, my point being is, like, Goku's never faced somebody this strong before. Piccolo's never faced somebody this strong before. So what you see is they're, like, taking off all their weighted clothing that they train with, and, like, and their power levels start going up because they're no longer weighted down by this, like, weighted clothing. It's a little sexy, if I'm being honest. But then they start fighting, and even with, like, the great new dynamic relationship they have as fighters, and the fact that they understand each other's movements, is still seemingly not enough to take down Raditz. Until Piccolo reveals that he's got the special beam fucking cannon. This super powerful move that he needs to sit there and lay dormant in order to charge, standing in one spot with his 2 fingers over his head, charging a powerful beam. But it will definitely be strong enough to kill Raditz. The problem is, well, how do we hold Raditz for that long? Well, if you check out things from the earlier parts of the show, you'll find out that if somebody holds a Saiyan's tail, they're unable to move. So Goku's like, fuck it, I'm gonna fucking grab his tail. Like, that's when some dude grabbed my tail, it hurt like hell. After Piccolo gets his arm fucking blasted off, Goku grabs that tail, baby. He grabs, I'm just kidding, it's his brother. But he grabs the tail. Piccolo goes in for the killing shot, and fucking stupid ass Goku believes Raditz when he's like, I'm not gonna hurt people anymore, just let me go. If you kill me, you'll be killing your only brother who wants to be a good man. I'll leave forever and never come back. And Goku's like, alright, dude, I believe you for some reason. And lets go of him. And then fucking Raditz fucking elbows the fuck out of this man. Gets on top of him, starts stomping on him. Piccolo's... because the moment he lets go of the tail and Piccolo goes to shoot the beam, he just, like, barely misses, which is, like, so fucked. I think this is actually the second time where, like, the first time he shot the beam, he wasn't holding his tail or anything, but he just missed because Raditz was so fast. Then the second time, he was about to hit him, Goku let go of the tail, Piccolo's still standing there charging it, and somehow Goku, I don't know why, oh no, I know why. Gohan jumps out of the fucking AirPod thing, the giant, the little spaceship thing that Raditz threw him in, and fucking headbutts Raditz and fucking Tyson's the guy, like literally fucks him up. And during that fuck up and being weakened by that headbutt, Goku gets up and puts Raditz in a fucking full Nelson. I don't know why the full Nelson is really the thing, or half Nelson or whatever. I don't know wrestling moves, but I don't know why like strapping someone's arms behind their back who is so powerful they can blast like through you works, but it does. But the idea is, in order for him to be held long enough for Piccolo to shoot him with a special beam cannon, Goku will also have to die. So Piccolo special beam cannons him, and you know, blast the hole through both of them. A fucking hole. Like a hole. Like his innards are blasted out. Like I'm seeing a hole on the man. He's laying there. You know what? And eventually Krillin comes. Like this is after like everything's happened. Krillin and Master Roshi show up. They've like been like watching it by plane. Like we're going to go help and shit. They land and they're like, oh my God, you have a fucking hole in you. There's a giant hole in your body. You're so fucked. And then, like, you know, that's crazy enough. Like, and Krillin's like, oh, I swear to God, we're gonna save you. Like, we're gonna get you out of this. And Goku's like, I don't think you can save my body this time. I don't think you can like take me to a hospital. My innards are everywhere. But, but eventually, when you come to find out, Piccolo is like gloating to Raditz because Raditz is like, we both have to die now, you moron, Goku. And Piccolo's like, bruh, you don't understand. Him and his friends, they're going to gather the Dragon Balls. And then they're just going to wish him back, dude. You're fucked. You got fucked. Like, he's like kind of gloating, you know? And he's like, well, and then Raditz is like, well, you're a fucking dumbass. Because remember this weird ass piece of sunglasses I have on? Yeah, that's a communicator, bitch. The other two Saiyans I work with heard that. And sure, they wouldn't have come to like fuck up your planet just because I died here, but they heard about those Dragon Balls too, and they now they know they can wish for whatever they want if they just come here and gather up some balls. They on the way. And they'll be here in like a year, bitch. 1 year. So good luck. So at this point, Piccolo's like, oh my fucking god, these things are going to be back in a year. And who knows, like, if Goku's going to be enough, even if he gets wished back with Dragon Ball. So he's like, we need to have people training. So he fucking steals that 4-year-old boy Gohan, the one or 3-year-old or whatever, who just headbutted his uncle to, like, incapacitation. He's like, I'm going to steal this child in front of Goku's friends, by the way. He's like, I'm taking this child later. And he leaves with a child. He takes a child and he's like, this is my child for the next year. Sorry about it. What the fuck? That's fucking crazy. He literally kidnapped this child. It doesn't matter though, because you'll come to find out that Piccolo's he's just a good dad. Anyway, so Krillin and them are all like, oh shit, somebody's coming in a year. We all need the train. So Krillin and the rest of, as they're called, the Z Fighters, basically Yamcha, this broke ass fucking baseball player who can't fight worth shit. Tien, this dude with a third eye, who's like, he's pretty good for like Earth, and he's still technically an alien, so I feel like that's cheating to call him an Earthling. You got Krillin with his no-nos. You have Chaozu. Chaozu's the scariest thing you'll ever see in your entire life. Make no mistake. Chaozu is the scariest, like, kaiju there is. Like, the scariest, like, Korean water ghost you'll ever come across. Anyway, so they all come together. They're training with Mr. Popo, which is this guy who basically... It's not important who Mr. Popo is for us to describe this. Basically, he's a dude who works for the Guardian of the Earth, Kami, who, like, because Kami's there, that's why there's Dragon Balls there. It's tied directly to his essence, whatever. So these guys are all training separate from Piccolo, and Gohan's training for an entire year, and then we just have, like, a Rocky montage for the next few months. Oh, even in Goku, we have a bit of a Rocky montage, because he has to run across this thing. We see him in death. We see him in the other world. He tells his friends, don't wish me back with the Dragon Balls until the last second, until like a year later, because I'm going to train in this like heavenly place. And they're like, that's fucking nuts. Your wife's going to be pissed, but okay. And Krillin's left to tell his wife Chi-Chi that not only is Goku dead, but Gohan has been kidnapped by a giant green monster. That's just how it goes. Anyway, so they're training in another world. Piccolo and Gohan are having like, I don't know, like it's like Piccolo's heart is warmed by Gohan because he's just this innocent kid who really doesn't deserve to have to fight in this, galactic war, but he has to because he's Earth's strongest. Or at least one of them. In fact, at this point, he might be Earth's strongest since Goku's gone, because I don't know. I mean, I guess it's all about untapped potential, but still. There's a moment where he's turned into a giant ape as a result of the full moon. Piccolo's like, what the fuck? I didn't know that was a thing. And he blew up the moon, which is crazy. There are no waves, I imagine, at the beach anymore. And also, like, I gotta imagine it, like, fucks up life to, like, not have the moon there. It doesn't matter. The moon's gone, baby. He blew that bitch up. So, then... one thing leads to another. Goku runs on this thing called Snake Way in order to get to this planet owned by a quote-unquote King Kai, which is like this otherworldly creature who lives in like heaven, essentially, the other world, and is going to train Goku in like ancient arts that like are no longer used in the real world because like anybody who had learned them has since either died or it's always been a dead art. And he learns things like Kaioken, which envelops his entire body in like a red key, and it makes him more powerful. And he learns things like the Spirit Bomb, where he's able to gather the power of willing participants to give up their energy to make a giant ball of energy that can obliterate the living fuck out of anything, and they bust out any time they're facing something too strong and they've ridden themselves into like a corner. They're like, have him do the Spirit Bomb. That'll get rid of the issue. Like we'll get rid of the villain that way since it's too strong and we don't know how else to kill it. We'll just give him a Spirit Bomb. Happens more than once. But anyway, after all this training on all three sides, the Saiyans get there. Nappa and Vegeta. Now, I assume that most people probably have seen Vegeta in some regard. He turns out to be a huge character in the show. I won't get into why or how. in this video, but maybe I'll do another video at some point. But he is the prince of all Saiyans. Now that is 3 now, not very much, 4 if you count Gohan. But he used to be the prince of their race. The planet they all lived on was even named after his family's line, the Vegeta family. And his father was King Vegeta, like the ruler of all the Saiyans. They're called high class Saiyans. It's like very much like a kind of, you know, master race Aryan thing going on with that. Not something that turns out to be like an indicator on the show. In fact, the show tells you, like, you know, just because you have a certain bloodline doesn't mean you're the most powerful person there. So that's something that comes to be true. But regardless, Vegeta is a great character, and he's a great villain in this in the show. So I'll get into like my analysis later. But so Vegeta and this other guy Nappa, basically his little sidekick, this bald dude with a, you know, a Papa John's store manager mustache. They come to Earth. And they're blowing shit up, bro. They're going through planes. They're killing tons of people because they're looking for the Dragon Balls, and they're also looking for the people that, like, obviously, like, took out Raditz, because they're like, well, they're our only threat. We'll just kill them. So they go and they find the Z Fighters, or the Z Fighters find them. I actually can't remember the specifics of how they all met up. They all meet up in a field. You know how fights go. Hey, you, I'm going to fight you later. Let's go meet in a deserted field. That's just what heroes do. They don't want to, like, go through buildings and shit. They're going to go meet out in the desert and shit. So they go and they meet up, and all the Z Fighters are there. You got your boy Yamcha, Krillin. They're all so confident. They're like, we're going to fuck you up, bro. And then I guess, like, they just, like, basically they break out these things like Cybermen. They're essentially the sea monkeys of the Dragon Ball Z world. They're like these weird little things that grow out of these little seeds. And they all kill Yamcha, like, instantly. Like, they all fuck him up so bad. It's not good. It's not good. They really fucking ruin his life with that one. And, you know, like, that's sad and all, but, like, we all saw it coming. And then the remaining 3 fighters, the remaining fighters left, Krillin, Tien, and Chaozu, all fail to defeat Nappa. Every single one of them. Chaozu kills himself, ends his own life by exploding on Nappa's back, and literally does not harm him. Like, he blows off his armor. That's it. But that's good, because Chaozu's creepy as fuck anyway. But anyway, so then Tien fights him, gets fucked, dies so hard. Krillin and Gohan and Piccolo, they're all fighting. Piccolo, it gets to a point where Nappa is about to murder Gohan, and Piccolo jumps in the way and dies. Now, this is significant for multiple reasons. Not just, like, the tie-in of, like, oh my god, he's a better dad than Goku, which a lot of people say. I don't want to get into that. But also, that means
the balls are inert.
Since Piccolo is the other, like, Namekian, like, attached on this planet, you know, he's a part of this. Like, he's like essentially, like, tied in with Kami in a weird spiritual way. Him being dead means the Dragon Balls are no longer on Earth. Like, they don't work. They're just stones, and they don't work anymore because Piccolo is dead. The Namekian on the planet, because there's some sort of weird tie we're learning about right now that the Dragon Balls exist fully based on people from Namek, and that we'll get to that point eventually. Basically, they're an alien race, all these green people like Kami and Piccolo. Turns out there's more of them, but we'll find out about that later. Anyway, so he dies, which is crazy. And like, so now there's no more Dragon Balls. So, like, Nappa and Vegeta are like, fuck this, we're just gonna kill all of you, and we'll go to that fucking planet, Namek, and we'll find a Namekian there to make us Dragon Balls and shit and do that. So they all fight. Goku finally shows up. Late as fuck, mind you. Late as hell. Because he didn't realize when they wished him back on the day they arrived, Goku has to run all the way back across Snake Way, which took him like 3 months. Now he gets back in like a day later than he thought he would, or whatever, like, 6 hours later than he thought he would, however long, it doesn't really matter. Fades Nappa, fucks him up, turns on that Kaioken, breaks his back, whatever. Nappa's like, like, help me, we're gonna fucking fight him together. Vegeta's like, I'll help you, grabs him, throws him in the air, explodes him. He's like, I don't need a weak fucking partner. So, like, right off the bat, Vegeta's not fucking around. He just killed the only other guy on his side. He's like, fuck that guy, I don't need him. I'm about to fuck you up. And he is. He's about to fuck him up. So, a lot of fighting ensues. He uses a fake moon at one point in order to turn into a giant ape, and a character who was not before mentioned, but we mentioned now, a fat guy named Yajirobe, comes out of nowhere, literally cuts Vegeta's tail off with his samurai sword, and then Vegeta stops being a great ape. But this is only after he has savagely beaten Goku to near death. So then he fights Gohan, he fights Krillin, whatever. He's like weakened. He fights Goku a little more. One thing leads to another. Goku and Vegeta are splayed out on the ground, unable to fucking move. Now Krillin, he's still able to move, and he has a samurai sword that Yajirobe has. Vegeta's trying to sneak back into his ship to escape and eventually come back, obviously kill them all, whatever, and also get the Dragon Balls. He's crawling towards his ship. He has the opportunity to kill Vegeta. It's right there. He's ready to die. And what does Goku do? He fucking tells Krillin not to kill him because he's like, I sense something in him or something or the other. Like, there is, like, I feel that we need to fight again one day. And also I feel that he's not, like, that bad of a guy or whatever. I don't remember the exact things, but he basically convinces Krillin, don't kill him. Let him get away and be a pussy. Whatever. So that's exactly what he does. Krillin goes, fine. Vegeta gets in the ship. And that is the end of the Saiyan saga. Now, I'm sorry if I talked too much about exactly what was happening. Sorry if I missed anything. But I just want to go over this saga in particular and what my thoughts are on it. I feel like this in particular, this saga is the last one that has Dragon Ball-esque things. Like, this one you could see existing in the same world as the Dragon Ball anime, the original. It's still got like a goofiness to it. It still emphasizes characters that are insane looking, like walking cats and things like that, more so than the later sagas. And it's not, everything's still grounded. Everything happens on Earth other than Otherworld and Vegeta and Nappa approaching, obviously. But everything's really grounded, and it still feels like a mix between the Dragon Ball anime and what Dragon Ball Z will become. So I think that this is like a good transitional season. I think it really works with going from Dragon Ball to Dragon Ball Z, but I don't know if it's a great indicator of what Dragon Ball Z will become, because eventually, though there are still goofy elements and it's still an action comedy, the stakes really intensify through the next saga and the following sagas, where absolute destruction is like inevitable, and things are way more serious and people are way more hurt than just this concept of like a couple of Z fighters fighting off a couple of aliens. I think this show is incredible, and I love everything about it. And I'm sorry if like me ranting about this was super annoying, or maybe it was super fun for you. I don't know, but if you guys want me to keep doing this, please light it up in the comments. If you guys are video watchers, sorry we didn't have a video. Like I said, I didn't know exactly what I should do with this. I just decided to go full audio. Thank you to the royalty-free music. I'll put that in the description, by the way. It's worked out really well. But then the other thing I do want to say is, if you guys want CL and Franny back, if you guys are the podcast listeners, don't worry. They will be back at the next upload. This is just something we did because of the different projects we have going on. We've been very busy, and this is something that I've been wanting to do also, so I just knocked it out of the way and made it a bonus pod. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for for listening. If you guys, like I said, if you guys want another one, I'll do another one. Have a good one, guys.
What do I care about seeing your dirty old fanny?